Wake up, log in, it's time to learn. Grab your notes, it's your turn. No more traffic, no more delay. We're learning strong from home today. Online classes, we're feeling the vibe. Learning together, we always strive. With Sir Alex Kwanzaa, we lead the way. New knowledge coming every day.
Yeah, welcome class, welcome everyone to our lesson today. After the vacation, I shared some topics with you that we'll be doing probably next time. And I assured you that I'll be doing few videos pertaining to those topics so that we can get ourselves abreast with the topics before school resume. So this will be our very first lesson. It's not the entire lesson, but I'm doing it in bits so that at least learning it will be very simple for you. If I should pile you with a lot of information, most of you struggle to grasp them. So I'm doing it in bits. So let's say this is our lesson 1. Another topic, self-identity. Self-identity. So self-identity will be our very first lesson. All right. So in this lesson, there are a few things that we will look at. We'll discuss the concept of self and self-identity. What is self? And what is self-identity? Actually, when people ask you to describe yourself, what are some of the things that you are supposed to say? And that would mean if you know much about yourself, you'll be able to tell us more. But if you don't know what make up or what make you up or what make up the self, you will not be able to say a lot. Then we also look at attitudes that enhances self-worth, the value that you place on yourself. What are some of the things that you have to do to add more value to yourself? Then we look at our strengths and our weaknesses. What make up our strength and what are some of the things that make up our weaknesses? Then, when we have time, we will describe how an individual can develop their capabilities. So, things that you are good at, how can you develop it? And things that the God-given talent that you've been given, how can you develop those talents? Or what you are capable of? What are some of the ways that you'll be able to develop it? So, without much ado, let's move on to the lesson for the day. So move on to our second slide. We are basically looking at about 12 slides with few information, not that much, so that you have time to learn them. Okay. So our introduction. What are we really going to look at? So self-identity. So it is very important for each and every individual to know him or herself. Yes, it is very, very true. It is important that we know ourselves. This is because many people hardly find the opportunity to identify their capabilities in life. Yes. If you should ask me what I would like to be in future, I know what I would like to be. What about you? If I should ask you, what are your goals? What are your aspirations? What are your aims in life? Most of you struggle to tell me. But after this lesson, it's our prayer that you'll be able to know yourself and be able to aim higher. One's inability to identify his or her capabilities results in his or her inability to set realistic goals for life. Yes, if you don't know what you have, what you can do, it will be very difficult for you to set goals ahead of you. Oh, I want to be, when I grow up, I feel like I can do this. I can play football. I'm very, very outspoken. Therefore, I would like to be a journalist. So throughout school, your education trend or during your education levels, there are things that you have to do to better yourself so that at least you find yourself in that jurisdiction or that arena of being a journalist or being a doctor or being a lawyer. So if you don't know what you are capable of, it'll be very difficult for you to set goals. This makes him or her unable to develop his or her potentials fully, and that is true. If you don't know what you are supposed to be or what you were born for, or nobody has told you, your parents have not even identified or discovered you yet, it will be very difficult for you to succeed. Yes, it's very important. In this first chapter, we will discuss attitude that enhance self-worth. And what is self-worth? I said self-worth is the importance or the value that you place on yourself. And it has to do with a whole lot of hard work. There are a lot of things that you have to do to be able to obtain this self-worth. Okay, let's move on. Definition of self. When we say self, what does it mean? Self. So when I ask you to describe yourself, what are some of the things that you tell me? It said it refers to the whole being of an individual. Yes, the entire being, whatever make up you, that is self. The whole being of an individual, taking into consideration his or her physical nature. So from your head all the way to your toes, whatever you have on your body, it is part of yourself. Most of you are taller or tall, some are short, some are average, some are plump, some are slim, all those things, all the physique that you see, all the physique that makes up or that make up you is what we add or that help to make up the self. Or yes, let me put it that way, that all those things put together make up who you are. So his or her physical nature, psychological nature, the way you think, the way you are able to perceive things. Also, we have people, they always surround themselves with positivity. They don't talk ill about people, they hardly gossip, and whatever comes from their mind, everything has to do with education and important things. We also have people, the moment they meet, they are full of gossip and everything. So when I ask you to describe yourself, are you going to tell me positive things about yourself or negative things about yourself? So we are looking at the physical nature or the physical nature from your head to your toe, the psychological nature, how you think and how you reason. Do you still think like a baby, or do you think like someone who is in KG, or you think like someone who is in basic 7, or even above your level? Your abilities, what you can do, and your qualities, things really that important things that really make up or define you. So this is the self. It refers to the whole being of an individual, taking into consideration the physical nature, psychological nature, your abilities and your qualities, etc. It is the sum total. Yes, it is the sum total, the overall thing that make up the individual. The sum total of an individual beliefs, his feelings, perceptions, abilities, behavior, and characteristics. These are the things that make a human being. So when I ask you to describe yourself, what are you going to tell me? Your beliefs. What do you believe in? Are you patient? Are you tolerant? Are you that principle? Are you law abiding? And feeling, how do you feel? Are you always happy? Are you always sad? Are you moody? Do you feel like you can express yourself, or you are timid? You always want to keep things to yourself. How you think, your perception, how do you see yourself? Oh, I'm nice, or I'm handsome, or I'm beautiful, or however you see yourself. And how do you see people? The way you see yourself will help you to also acknowledge and accept people. Do you understand? So how you also think is part of it. Your abilities, like what you can do. I'm a good footballer. I can score. I can do this. Put me in this position and I can do well. Add me to this group and I can perform. You need to know all those things. Your abilities, your behavior. Are you respectful? Are you disobedient? All those things, and your characteristics. All these things make up the characteristics of an individual. So when I ask you to tell me some features of yourself, I'm trying to mean that tell me about what you believe in, your feelings, or how you think, what you can do, and your behavior. So that is what self is all about. Self defines, all these things define who you are. Now, do you really know whether you're tall or short? Do you really know whether you're outspoken? Do you really know whether you can work in a team and do better? You have some people when they are learning on their own, they don't do well, but when they join a team, they perform. Are you aware of that? If you are aware of all those things, then you have already identified yourself. That is self identity. If you are aware of all the things that I've mentioned over here, then you have already identified yourself. If you're aware of the beliefs, if you're aware of your feelings, if you're aware of how you think and how you see people, if you're aware of your abilities, if you're aware of your behaviors and all the things that make up the human being, your characteristics, if you're aware of all these things, then you have already identified yourself. Now let's move on. It is the awareness of one's unique identity. So, are you aware of all these beautiful things that we see over here that I've mentioned? Beliefs, feelings, perceptions, abilities, behavior, and characteristics. Are you aware of all these things? If you're aware of it, then you have already identified yourself or discovered yourself. So it is the awareness of one's unique identity. Now, we are all born differently. We grew up from different environments, from different homes. We're all brought up differently. You know, what you accept in your home, other homes, it will not be accepted. So you need to ask yourself, what am I supposed to, what are some of the things that when I do here is not accepted in other places? That's why there are things that when you bring to the school, we tell you it is not accepted or it's not allowed. Perhaps home it is, but in the school setting, it is not acceptable. So it is what? The awareness of one's unique identity. Have you identified yourself that much? Your uniqueness. Have you identified it? Is very, very important. So we're all born differently, in our own way. We are all unique. So how have you identified yourself? How an individual feels, see, understand, and know about themselves. So if I'm very, very much aware of my beliefs, my feelings, my perceptions, I have already identified myself, and that is self-identity. This means that the individual has knowledge about him or herself, taking into account his or her physical nature that we mentioned, your psychological nature, your abilities, and the qualities. If you have really identified all, then it means that you have identified yourself.